So here's that picture of that last final scoreboard screen we were on. And now if we go back to the tab where we had our original dashboard look from our Kahoots page, it originally said My Kahoots 0, and now when I click on My Kahoots, you're going to see it's going to update and show that we have one Kahoot now that's associated as our Kahoot. Okay? This is what that end user experience looked like for the laptop user. And of course, if I go ahead and close from the administrative screen, if I close this box, then you'll see it immediately goes back to the Kahoot login page for the end user. And it's the same on the telephone, the smartphone, I'm sorry, and the tablet. So here we are. And let's go back into our quiz, and just you'll see there's an option to edit, duplicate it, or delete it. And there's also a preview button here, but let's go back and edit it and just beef it up a little bit. So it takes us immediately to question 1, and what we're going to do here is add a couple questions, and there's a way we can add a question from scratch, or we can duplicate the question we have. And of course, duplicating it is going to help us keep this same image with the isosceles triangle there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to duplicate the question. So now we're on question 2. It's still going to be a points question. It's still going to be 30 seconds long. But instead of asking what is the classification of the image shown here, we're going to go ahead and say, what is the measure of angle S? And you'll notice I put in the word angle, but I'm going to point out again this symbol feature where you can come and choose really cool math symbols, which really help your students learn different types of terminology and symbology associated with your content area. So I say, what is the measure of angle S? And of course, we're going to need to update the answers. The correct answer in this case is 58 degrees, because when we do, I'm sorry, 52 degrees. We'll make this one the first. I'm going to say 52 degrees. We'll say 64 degrees. That's incorrect. 180 degrees, maybe a student will think that 180 degrees because that's the total number of degrees in a triangle. And we'll just say this 90 degrees. All right, save and continue. And now you can see an overview of our quiz. We have the same 2 images. If I want to change the order of the images, I could put that first or drag it back and make it second, as it were. It gives us 30 seconds to do them, 4 different choices, and I'll hit save and continue. Now this is for the quiz itself. It's still asking, here's the description of our quiz, the difficulty level, and the tags that'll be used to search for it. And if I hit save and continue, we are back to the main page of the quiz. Now, one other thing I wanted to do, you'll notice when we administered the last quiz, there was just a background image when the quiz first started of a Kahoot image. So what I'm going to do, and I think a lot of teachers can stand to benefit, is I'm going to use an image that would have come. Of course, you have to have your images preloaded. So it's going to take a little work before you begin this process. And I have loaded now an image. If I pull and drag, you can kind of see that is student work. So it's a great practice to use a project or an activity that students are familiar with, so that it will help conjure prior knowledge when we go ahead and do this quiz. So now when we start this quiz the second time, students are going to see this background image, and it hopefully will trigger past knowledge from things that they've already learned. And you'll notice down here again, we can put in a video, but if we put in a video, which I'll do in a minute, it will override the image that we have up here. All right, I'll go ahead and hit done. And now if I go ahead and do play now, here's the And one thing I didn't mention last time is there's team mode also. Team mode and classic mode are pretty much the same thing. Team mode is if you just want to put your students in groups and let them kind of have to work together before they decide on an answer. And classic is just going to allow students to be individual. But really, if you do classic and students want to work in teams on one device, the computer wouldn't know. So these, by all intents and purposes, are the same. So I'm going to stick with classic. And again, we'll see what the pin is. I'm going to go ahead and put in the game pin for my different devices. And player 1 phone is going to be 585708. Enter. And I'll just, this time, player 1 phone. And hit OK, go. We'll see player 2 is going to be, sorry, this is taking a minute just because I want to put it in the 3 different devices. Player 2 again is going to be our iPad, and we'll go over here and do the game pin, which is displayed for everyone to see. You do need to have some type of projection device to allow students to see. We'll call this time I'm going to shorten it just to P3. Computer's moving a little slow here. Player 3 doesn't like moving so slow here. I got a few different windows open, so my computer's moving a little slower than I want it to. I was just going to change this to make it all uniform. P3. Okay, go. So you'll see it says you're in. Do you see your nickname on the screen? This is the end user view, and this is the screen that everyone in the class is being projected. So you can see up here, the pin is here for everyone to see. If I want to make it a little bigger, I can do that. If I want to make it a little smaller, I can do that as well. And now when I start the game, this is the background image that everyone sees. And here's what the end user look is. It's still loading. Looks like Safari was, it's loading question 1. My Safari window slowed down a little bit. Here's the question. Because my computer's moving a little slow, it has not yet loaded. I do see it on my phone. I'm going to go ahead and pick the circle, triangle. Looks like my Safari page has slowed down. And unfortunately, I ran out of time because my Safari page quit on me. If I hit refresh here, are you sure you want to leave this page? We'll go ahead one more time. We'll say leave page. Unfortunately, the time ran out on us for that pin, for that game, for that question, I'm sorry, 585708, which is why it's good to have your information for the pin login still displayed. So now I'm back in as the laptop user. And when I hit next, you'll notice, see, there was no one that got the correct answer and only 2 answers were replied to. When I hit next, there's the updated score. Now when I hit next for this next question, we're hoping that this time it'll load properly. There are always going to be some technical difficulties. You'll see here now it's working again. I think I just left my Safari page open too long. So here's question 2. What is the measure of angle S? So again, I'll pick the incorrect answer for my laptop. I'll pick the incorrect answer for my cell phone and the correct answer for the iPad user. And you'll notice there's one correct answer there. Again, I can show the image that we had displayed for the question. And then here was the question. We can go to next and look at the updated score. And you'll see that I guess they had 2 users there for the laptop due to the one mistake when I first logged in. And that is what the new longer quiz will look like with the background image.